Getting gold consistently in training camp battles and weekly strategy is one of the most important things you can do when it comes to building your team in franchise mode, as it gets you more XP for your players, but it also has a chance to trigger a development trait upgrade that'll improve your player even faster. So if you want to know the easiest ways to get gold in every training camp battle minigame, stick around after the intro. If you guys are looking for fast, cheap, reliable MUT coins, check out my coin sponsors at MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 6% off your order. Link in the description below. The champ is here! Welcome back, Money Team. This is Mad Money Shot, sending out the Madden cheese as always. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to get gold in every one of these, whether you're doing it in the training camp battles, which is really important, or whether you're doing it in the actual weekly strategy, which is also very important. But before I do, as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section, as I plan on doing some more franchise tip videos because I do enjoy playing franchise. This is still one of my favorite modes to play. So if you guys want to see more videos on this, please make sure to let me know in the comment section that you want me to continue to do this. Other than that, I also go over how to build your team in franchise mode in my offensive and defensive tips and strategy guides. So if you guys want more help, I go over stuff like what are the best attributes to look for, what are the best abilities when it comes to players, just a lot of stuff on how to build your team. So if you want more help, you can download this or any of my ebooks instantly by clicking links in the description or the top pinned comment. Now I'm going to start with the training camp games, going from left to right, starting off with bucket drop, as this can be one of the harder games, but all you really have to know is that this is a free-forming exercise. So you're going to be hitting the left bumper or the L1 button, and the free-form is going to start from wherever the icon is that you're starting with. So here I'm starting with X. I just have to slightly move it to the right side, where when I do B, I have to slightly move it to the left side, and I'm basically just going to repeat this pattern, as I find it's easiest to go from left to right, starting with the closest icons and then working my way back, as it'll give you the ability to repeat what you just did, making it a little bit easier. You can see right here, I hit the corner, then I'm going to hit the other corner, then I'm going to hit the back of the end zone here, and then switch over to the other side. That's really the easiest way to do it. You can also move closer to the targets to make it a little bit easier as well. And the main goal is to get it done with at least 30 seconds left so you can have enough bonus points to get over the needed amount. Next, I'm going to go over pocket presence, which is probably another very difficult one when it comes to training camp, as the real goal here is to early on just make sure that you break the bullseyes, because all you really want to do is get your multiplier up. I don't really have to worry about hitting bullseyes or hitting the inner ring early on. As you can see, the name of this game is really moving in the pocket to the point where you can get closer to the middle ring, and you can do that simply by moving in a way that you can see that the icon is in the middle of the target. So when it's like in the middle like this, I just have to move to the outside of the ring. You can see right there, we hit the inner ring, and since my multiplier is really high, it's worth 2,000 points. But when it comes to the outside ones, you have to move to the outside of the ring to get closer to those bullseyes. As you can see right there on B, I had to get all the way to the outside of the ring. On X, it's going to be the same way. Get to the left all the way as we get almost another bullseye there, we get an inner ring. But you can see how the multiplier, as I'm slowing down as the multiplier goes up, because I have to make sure that I'm hitting these rings at a, to get to the gold amount needed. You really got to make sure you're hitting these bullseyes later on as the multiplier gets higher. So you can see right here, we only have a couple seconds left as we hit that bullseye on back to back to get that gold. As like I said, that's the most important thing. Once the game advances the way that it does, bullseyes late in the game are the most important thing. Now those are ones you have to do when it comes to the training camp battles, but when you're doing normal weekly training, you can just do the passing skeleton. This one's probably the easiest when it comes to building up a quarterback, as you really just have to find the most wide open receiver, and 9 times out of 10 that's going to be something simple like a short route right here. So you can see we got the wide receiver, he's wide open underneath. You're really just chaining completions. It's really about taking checkdowns over and over. As you can see before this play even starts, I know I'm going to take the X receiver because he's just going to be the easiest. A drag, a short completion, anything underneath. This game is really all about taking the check down. Let's play right here. I can throw it to the RB receiver underneath. Getting touchdowns is not as important as really just keeping your multiplier going, because if you throw an incomplete pass, the multiplier is going to stop. So that's why it's always important to just take these underneath checkdowns as much as possible to keep that multiplier going. As you can see right here, we have the wide receiver. I wanted to throw there, but you can see that based on the fact that it's a man coverage, that route's not going to get open. Having a previous knowledge of what routes beat what coverages is also helpful. But like I said, it's really just a space read. You're really just looking to see which guy has the most space when it comes to these things. And 9 times out of 10 is going to be the guy underneath. making this a very easy game mode to win based on the fact that you can really robo check down for the most part, although sometimes it might force you to throw up the field a little bit more based off of what the coverage is, as they do give you some plays where there's really not a lot of options. But ultimately, like I said, this is something where I'm just making blind reads, I'm just looking for space, and 9 times out of 10 I'm just robo check downing based off the fact that that's going to be the route that's open 9 times out of 10. As you can see, we're basically just completing every pass here, as I'm really just reading which player has the most space before the play starts, and if I make a good run after the catch that gets a score, it just makes it that much easier. But on this play here, I mean, I know I can throw to the running back or the X receiver. They're both wide open. I just have to make a quick, decisive decision, because if you hold the ball too long, the sack timer can come back and play and can bite you in the ass. But ultimately, you can see right here, guy misses the jam, and it's a really easy read when you see a guy running wide open like that. Next up, when it comes to rushing attack close quarters, this is kind of the same as regular rushing attack. You just have these spinning things outside, making it a little bit more difficult, as all you really have to do is watch the blocker, watch your lead blocker. If he blows up the linebacker to the outside, you got to go to the inside. If he blows the linebacker up into the inside, you got to go to the outside. It's really that simple, as the other linebacker typically has such horrible pursuit angles or speed to the point it really doesn't matter, as this particular one almost feels like you can just run around everything, especially if you have a fast running back. Like the guy I'm using is 94 speed. When it comes to the outside run, though, this is probably the most difficult, as you really have to be careful that you don't run into these tires. But that's about it. Other than that, there's really not a lot that can stop you. You can see right there, that was not even really well executed. I just kind of used my superior speed and ran around away from the open tackler. So even though the regular rushing attack is way easier, and I'll show that in a minute, but you can see that based off the fact that this multiplier is on how many touchdowns you score, you can get tackled and it's not the end of the world. It doesn't reset like a lot of other games, which is much more difficult. So even though I got tackled there, it didn't reset my multiplier, and it makes it that much easier to get gold in a game like this. I got 22 seconds left, my multiplier is already at a 9. Like I said, the hardest part is when you go outside, just don't get hit by those spinning tires or get cut off by the standing tires at the end. And you can see how easy it is to get touchdowns against this horribly designed pursuit when it comes to these guys. You can see we're with almost 10 seconds left, we only need about 2,000 more points, and I probably don't have to score to get that, but it's just so easy based on the fact that this particular game mode, they're programmed so poorly, and your fullback pretty much nails his block every single time, which is not something you're going to see in a regular Madden game, but he does a pretty good job hitting it 9 times out of 10, especially since I don't have a really highly rated fullback anyway. For regular weekly training, though, it's better just to do regular rushing attack, as this one's even easier without those spinning things outside. That's pretty much the only thing that stops you, as now you have a wide open field, and all you really have to do is just out sprint everybody. There really is no like I said, the pursuit angles are horrible. As you can see, this safety here is super slow. He doesn't even try to cut you off, as it doesn't matter if it's an inside handoff or an outside handoff. You can basically just run wide and sprint to the end zone, and that's just how poorly designed the competitive nature of this particular mode is. As you can see, I'm just running to the outside, and there's really nobody that can even catch me. The field's too big, which is why they made it more difficult for training camp battles itself, based off of the fact that this is just too easy. They had to condense the field to more of like a hash mark feel to make it a little bit more difficult. As you can see, there's just nothing really stopping me here. I'm just running the outside every single time. When it comes to wide receiver battles, whether it's the full field or the red zone attack, it's pretty much going to be the same thing every single time. You just want to run a whip route, which is going to be running inside and then running back outside based off of how the defensive back plays you. If he forces you to the outside, you just have to run across his back before running back outside. It's a simple whip route every single time, and then I'm throwing the ball to this 400 marker. As you can see here, I accidentally threw it too quickly, but since I didn't drop it, the multiplier increased. As that's all I'm really doing, like I said over and over. It's just a whip route, a long whip route to the back corner of the end zone, and you can see that the real trick to this is keeping that multiplier going, as once again, a dropped pass or an incomplete pass will reset that. As you can see right there, I kind of had to body the cornerback, as a lot of times you get different types of releases, but like I said, I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing every single time. Whether I get an inside release or an outside release, I'm just basically working the defender inside before breaking to the outside for a very easy completion, as I could work this receiver up very quickly by just doing whip routes over and over in practice mode in this particular type of training camp battle. Pocket protector is probably one of the easiest ones as long as you take your time, as the only real way that you can lose this is if you run into the red area that Jalen Hurts is standing. But you can see how I can move super slow and precisely to knock these balls down. They give you plenty of time. The real danger is when you go for these the multipliers, as that really can make it to the point where it's a little bit hard to get back. You don't want to just completely abandon your protection. You want to kind of wait until there's a ball in the area that you have to knock down before going for that multiplier, but you both ultimately only need like 4 multipliers to win this pretty easily. As you can see, I'm taking my time just walking around Jalen to make sure that I don't end it prematurely by stepping into the red zone, as that's pretty much it. And then when it comes to the multipliers, I just wait till I have a need in that area where there's a ball coming from that area to pick up that multiplier before going back. And this is just a really easy game mode. As you can see, I think they give you a full minute once again, but it feels like you have plenty of time. There's a new multiplier there, but I'm not going to worry about it because I'm already close to the goal. I don't need to go for that multipliers. Like I said, you only really need a ×3, even a ×4 to win this game. As you can see, I'm basically just taking my time walking around Jalen and knocking these balls away as we get more than enough of what we needed. Now, when it comes to trench battle, long haul on the defensive side, obviously the shorter version is going to be better, but for training camp battles, you really just have to make sure that you get through the offensive lineman to hit the +1 multiplier. As you can see here, I mean, I didn't even have to battle that guy. I just have to walk through that area, and you could always disengage just by running away from them, as there's multiple ways to basically, you know, get through. Just know that when you get to the end, hit the R1 or the RB button to do a strip sack, as it'll give you a chance for a higher multiplier at the end. But like I said, I'm really just bull rushing. A lot of faster players, you really just hit the sticks to the left or the right. But you know, it's easy. I mean, sometimes I'm doing a spin move. Sometimes I'm just kind of, you know, getting full speed and running through them. Here I get pancaked, but you have so much time, it really doesn't matter. As we get up and we try to hit that strip sack, as you see right there, we get a fumble bonus, as we pretty much already have gold at this point, as this is one of the easier ones to do. But like I said, during regular, you know, weekly strategy, just do the 3-man. It's much easier. As you can see, I mean, we're getting tossed around here quite a bit. Sometimes we get a really good bull rush, which just run through the guy. I mean, it's really just, you know, just being quick on the sticks. That guy right there, I didn't even touch him. I just ran through him as we accidentally run into the wall here. But like I said, plenty of time, another strip bonus, as this is just one of the easier ones to do. When it comes to chase and tackle, there are a couple ways that you can make this easier in your depth chart, which I'll show you in a second, but all you really want to do is just wait for the running back to get into the hole before you attack him. Take your time, use the line, which is really your best weapon, as a lot of times you can get him stuck in between the line, but if you attack too early, he's a lot of times will use the line against you. So like I said, I'm just kind of waiting until he gets into the hole, and then making either my hit stick or just my safe tackle, which is going to be spamming A or X, whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation, and that's the easiest way to do this. Like I said, I like the hit stick, which is up on the right stick, as a lot of times you can get some fumble bonuses and stuff like that, but this is a very easy mode to do. As you can see, I'm going against the cover athlete, the best running back in the game. Here you can see I over pursue, and that's going to be my biggest issue. Now, in this particular game mode, you can mess up a few times and allow you know, the actual multiplier to reset and still get enough. But obviously the multiplier is going to be the most important thing. But you can see here, like I said, don't be too aggressive. Don't hit stick too much, because a lot of times if you miss on a hit stick, it's going to cost you to the point where you're going to have to redo the entire thing. But you can see I'm kind of doing a lot of hit sticks because that's just kind of what I do. And it's also costing me because a lot of times the hit stick isn't the most accurate way to tackle. So after that, as I know I only need about 3,000 more, you can see I'm not hit sticking anymore. I'm just going to save tackle to make sure that I get the rest of the 3,000 I need to get over gold. But if you don't want to face off against a superstar running back like this, you could always go into your depth chart and you could replace him with a much worse player. Replace your starting running back with a much worse player, a slower player. As you can see right here, we over pursue once again. But like I said, I'm just trying to play it safe because I know I only need a little bit more to get that 30,000 to get that gold, as we get that tackle there, and we know that we have enough. So like I said, if you don't want to face off against a great running back like this, you could always even go as far as to pick up a really slow running back in free agency. Even a fullback a lot of times will work. Put him at your starting running back spot and make this that much easier. With DB battles, you can do the same thing. You can put a slow tight end at your number 1 or 2 wide receiver spot, or sometimes it's your slot wide receiver, just to make sure you're not going up against a superstar receiver here. But to me, this is one of the easiest ones to do, mostly because I do it so much, based on the fact that I'm always trying to build my cornerbacks and my secondary players. But this is something where they basically show you what the route is that's going to be run. So instead of trying to follow them, just cut them off. Like right here, I know he's got to come to the outside, so I'm just going to wait for him out here and basically cut the route off. You always want to make sure that you're on the inside, or you're in between the defender and where the ball's going. So you can see right here, it's an outside throw, so I get to the outside just to make sure that I have the direct path to the ball. Here we go once again. I noticed I throw to the outside, so I'm just going to meet him over there. I'm not going to wait. A lot of times though, you don't want to cover too close, because then the quarterback won't throw, and you get a better bonus if you get an interception, if you actually make a catch than, you know, basically just getting coverage sack. But that can also get you caught. As you can see right there, I hesitated too much to try to force the throw, and it basically cost me. But I'm already in the gold, so it really doesn't matter. As you can see, a lot of times you really just have to mug the receiver and just be all over them to the point where I didn't catch it there, but my helmet made the incomplete pass. As you can see, this is one of the easier modes in my opinion. Now, when it comes to things like field goal accuracy and coffin corner, these are probably some of the hardest, which is why a lot of people just skip them. But all you really have to do is when you kick the ball, just make sure you're hitting mid-green and wait for the ball to actually, or the target to actually be on the way down. As you can see right there, on the first kick, we have our best chance for success, as it's really more about, you know, waiting for the ball to return to the bottom. So by the time you hit the kick meter, it's coming back up. So you can see right here, we hit the ball as even though I didn't hit the actual target, but you can see the target was on the way down towards the middle when I kicked the ball, which is what gives me the best chance of hitting that target. You can see I'm pretty close every single time, even when I'm not hitting it. So on this next one here, you can see the target's coming down. Once it bounces off the bottom, you know, there I might have kicked a little prematurely, but like I said, to me, if you could time it with the actual target being in the middle, going down, it's going to bounce and come back up by the time the ball gets there. It's a good timing mechanism. As you can see right here, once again, the target's in the middle of the red when I kick the ball, and by the time it comes back up, boom, we're just splitting it right through the middle there. And I hit the amazing accuracy thing, the red thing right in the middle. So you can see that's the best way. Wait for that target to be in the middle as it's coming down, and by the time the ball gets there, it's going to be coming back up, timed really well. As you can see right there, that was poorly timed, because I know now all I need is a couple of easy kicks. I only need 8,000, and I already pretty much have it. So at this point, I'm not worried about hitting the target anymore. I'm just babying it over that 8,000 mark into the gold area and making sure that I hit, you know, just 300 a clip or 150 points every time. As you can see there, we actually got a 500. But ultimately, like I said, this is really, at this point, we're just trying to finish here. And like I said, I'm not even worried about making it now, because I'm already in the gold, as I'm basically just kicking for fun at this point. But like I said, it's really simple. Just make sure that you're kicking the ball when the target is in the red on the way down. And when it comes to the last kick, take your time, because it doesn't stop at 0. You still get one more kick. So if I needed one more kick here, I could take as much time as I want, time this up perfectly, and try to hit that target. But ultimately, you know, it's easy as long as you do it this way. And last but not least, when it comes to coffin corner, this one here can also be difficult, but there's a pretty easy hack when it comes to the long snapper. Is I'm going to basically use him as my targeting system, as I want to just make sure that this reticle that I'm moving here is basically you know, aligned with his leg. Is really the easiest way that I could say it. If I close up here, you can see that I'm really just basically putting it to the point where it's barely grazing his leg, it's barely touching his leg. After that, you still want to make sure you're hitting your green when it comes to the accuracy, but the strength of the kick is not important. As you can see right here, that it actually was an underkicked ball, but it still bounced. So the most important part is hitting your green accuracy when it comes to the middle, and making sure that you're basically you know, shaving off from the long snapper's leg. That's the best way to be the most consistent. You want to make sure that you're you know, as you can see right here, you can also use the shaking of the targeting, which is the same when it comes to kicking field goals in the other game, as it'll shake to let you know how close you are to the boundaries. You can see right there, you can also use that. So you're kind of using a combination of lining this up with the long snapper's leg, so it's barely touching the long snapper's leg, as well as also using the shaking of the remote, or the vibration of the remote, to let you know when you're close to the outside boundary, because it'll always shake to let you know that the ball is going out of bounds. So you have to use that as well. As like I said, I like the combination of the two. As you can see, we're having a pretty much successful you know, run here, but I'm also going to start babying it the same way, because this can be reset very easily if I make a mistake, and if I get a touchback, you can lose all your multipliers. So at this point, I'm playing a little bit more cautiously, knowing that I only really need to baby to cross the finish line. As we get our you know, we're almost there with 9,200. We only need 10,000 to win this. And with the multiplier being at 5, that's basically to the point where anything will get this done. As you can see right here, we get what looks like another coffin corner, but we only get the inner ring, but it really doesn't matter, as we finish that out. And I'm going to end the video there, but if you guys want to see more tip videos on how that pop up on screens, just click the links. And until next time, thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help, or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.